So, as of the 9th of June 2023, some major plot leaks have been revealed on the Reddit about 2 hours ago as a recording. It suggested that a storyline document has been found at a hotel where EastEnders' creative team holds their conferences. It reveals not only the name of the unlucky body on the floor during Christmas 23, but also what happens to the body. I've redacted the name of the victim and only shown the front page of this document, and it goes into detail a lot of the really exciting stuff that we're gonna see throughout the year. So Piggy, how are you finding all these, like, this sudden leak? Because I'm fucking buzzing.
See, now people are going to go, Piggy talking about wrestling. I'm going to basically compare this to wrestling. This is essentially like when, because there's people who dedicate themselves to leaking wrestling. This is essentially the same with that. What I'm going to say is, unless it's already been filmed, expect things to change. Expect this just to be an early draft, if it's true. I'm just going to go with the fact I'm sitting in the middle. Ashes fall on to the side that this is true. I'm in the middle because sort of, like, to me it sounds like sort of it's just made a fanfic, essentially. Yeah. But like, I'm not going to believe it's true until I actually see it on screen, because it's the same again with wrestling. When someone goes, "Oh my God, Chris Benoit is going to fucking win the Royal Rumble," it's like, yeah, mate, I'll fucking see when it happens. And then he like wins the Rumbling and like, holy crap, it's true.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's the thing with leakers and stuff. The one thing that gives me a slight bit of hope is I'll scroll down. I'll show the page. It looks fairly legit in terms of like a proper document. And it's kind of like a outline of the show, but obviously, yeah, it's yet to see whether it's actually legitimate or not. Obviously, I'm leaning more towards this being real. I'm clicking on shit and breaking everything. I'm leaning towards this being real because fundamentally, it's not very often that you get actual EastEnders leaks that actually come true. Unless it's like leaked by The Sun or something, and then usually they actually have a pretty decent track record. Obviously, they leaked Cindy's return, and they leaked Janine's return, just two to name. But as a whole, we're going to spend a decent chunk of time actually kind of analysing this and a fairly exhaustive look at what's been revealed as of these points. So first and foremost, carry on, Piggy.
And I just wanted to say, if people are wondering why didn't we mention this in the podcast, people who don't already know, the podcast is filmed usually on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So we obviously on a Thursday we're not time lords. We're not Max Coffey. we can't go back in time and tell our younger selves, look, we're gonna leak EastEnders. Yeah,
it kind of is the tale as old as time, as news always breaks out the second you've actually reported on the news for the week. You know, like it's just oh, for fuck's sake. So yeah.
Oh yeah, again, just take everything with a grain of salt. Again, unless it's already being filmed, because excuse me. Obviously, we know actors are, and I'm going on a little rant, but I just want to get my point across. And obviously, actors are very busy, especially when you do EastEnders, because you're usually either doing panto or fuck all. In terms of an EastEnders actor.
Yeah.
So like, it's everything that has already been filmed cannot be changed unless the actor actually go, oh, we have to change it. Like, you can change like August and September, basically you can refilm that, but anything from June and July you cannot refilm because literally it's finished.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they do like 9 weeks in advance or something like that.
They do 12 weeks apparently.
Oh yeah.
So 12...
yeah, I mean, I just pulled the number out my arse, so probably.
Apparently it's 12.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, like, again, they can change August and September, but what I'm trying to get across, if this is true, it would be very hard to change the storyline, is what I'm saying. For instance, Cindy Beale, we're going to talk in a second, is supposed to be revealed to be Raw tonight. Now, what I'm trying to say is, that supposedly is happening June 22nd. Supposedly. Supposedly. What I'm saying is, if this leak is true, they cannot change that. Because that would be a very weird fucking thing to do, being like, haha, I'm Rose Knight, baby, and then like Rose Knight appears behind her like, no, there's only one Rose Knight, bitch, and shoots her like that. That would make no sense. I'm just saying that take everything with a grain of salt. Obviously, they didn't reveal who dies at Christmas because, obviously they film multiple for the major stuff. They film multiple endings, like Lucy Beale's death.
I suppose just to cut in here, the person who did see the paper, the person who died was listed, but the person who actually leaked this actually decided to cover up the identity, which I think, for one, is actually a really badass move.
What I'm saying is, though, from my perspective, because say it is Nish who dies,
yeah,
and then the son figure out that Nish dies, what can happen then is whoever the EastEnders lead performer is, like the guy in charge, Kevin Feige of EastEnders, can basically go, they found out that Nish dies at Christmas, fucking change that to Ravi. That's what they do. They film multiple deaths. It happened with Lucy Beale. It happened with Who Shot Phil.
Yeah. Multiple Who Killed Archie was filmed. Yeah. All right. So that's not digressing. Let's get into at least some of these fucking suggestions. First,
Archie's like a kid in candy.
Mate, honestly, like, these leaks never happen with EastEnders. It's ridiculous. This is planning out the entire year, and it's so exciting to see. And it's kind of leaning into some of what we already think we know, but we're getting a bit of confirmation bias with some of these. So, Christmas Day is an hour-long special at 7 PM, and then a post-Watershed 9 PM half-hour episode. That sounds fucking wild to me.
So I assume the post-Watershed will show the dead body.
I assume it'll show the death.
Oh,
like, because you can't really kill someone, but if they're killing someone off, and it seems like someone got stabbed or something, you know, probably if they might actually show it if it is the post-Watershed, but it'll just be the build-up to them getting, however they die, getting killed, I would imagine.
See how I'm planning this already is, like, I was just thinking of like, oh yeah, this is gonna be amazing. This is fucking epic. Give me a beer, lads. How I'm thinking of it at Christmas Day, I'm literally just imagining us at 7 o'clock sitting down watching EastEnders, start streaming. Started the stream about 5 to 7, and then playing a game at like 7 to 8 till fucking 9 o'clock. Like, that's what I'm imagining. It's just on Christmas Day, very grumpy, watching 2 EastEnders.
yeah, I can imagine it happening because EastEnders, as has been suggested, is coming into a pretty important time. Obviously, we're coming up to the 40th anniversary. It is 2025, of course, but you know, they just won Soap of the Year. They're bringing back a bunch of cool people. They're making waves. The executive producer Chris Clenshaw's like doing a lot of really good shit. So I wouldn't be surprised. Also, like, streaming numbers are up on ITV, or not on ITV, on BBC iPlayer. We could potentially be entering a golden age for the show. So,
because I was going to basically point that out. I'm not saying the previous writer had some good ideas. He did, but he was very shit. If I'm being honest, because the new writer is infesting me in EastEnders. The old writer was like, lads.
The old writer, basically.
The old writer was basically like, lads, do you want to know how we fucking ruin a character? Wait till I enter that scene. I'm Billy Big Brother.
Right, we're gonna do a domestic abuse storyline. Okay, cool. Or she's gonna die. Or he's a serial killer. Lads, hold on. And just the way I used to watch EastEnders during the bad times, I would genuinely like wait like a good month or two and then be like, fuck, I guess I'll have to catch up, you know. Like, but now I'm happily watching it like weekly, like even sometimes daily. Just like give me all of the source.
Like, what I'm basically saying is, even though we do cover EastEnders and we do fairly shit on EastEnders, you have to look at it from our perspective. We can't just say, go watch this, it's a great episode. We have to dissect which is the bad and which is the good. obviously Reese is always the good, and the bad is usually fucking sad. Excuse me, I'm drinking
Or
beer.
Lily Slater.
Yeah, fuck you, Lily Slater. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the new writer knows EastEnders. I'm not saying the previous writer didn't, but he understands it's a soap.
Yeah.
And just like wrestling, you have to turn it up to 100.
Exactly.
You can't be like, oh, he's gonna hit his wife, and then you know what's gonna happen to him? He's gonna shoot on the bog and then get stabbed. And then at the funeral, his coffin's gonna go up in flames. You're like, yeah, fucking well done there, mate. Where the new writer's like, this will happen, then this will happen, which leads into why this happens.
Exactly. There's been foreshadowing of like, there's been foreshadowing of events. They've been like writing it in advance. You know, it's exciting stuff. I suppose. Any more to say about this, or can we move on quickly?
Basically, what I want to finish up my point. It's like how the South Park writers write South Park. You have to write it like, so we go from this to this, then this happens, then this happens. Not this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. It has to be this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens.
Everything has to have a reason. There we are. Next one. The killer is none of the 6 women in the campaign, and is in fact a secret 7th face who was off camera during the flash forward. Obviously, so the 6 women involved are Suki, Stacy, Denise, Kathy, Sharon, and Linda.
And Suki.
I said Suki at the start.
Oh,
so, and this starts to kind of, with some stuff we've heard later, it's kind of starting to paint it in my brain that Nish is definitely the one who dies. And I'm starting to think that it is either gonna be Ravi who kills him, or Eve. So, obviously, we'll get into that a bit more as we scroll down a bit further. There's some interesting information that is gonna coincide with what like our current takes are gonna be. Do you have much else to say about this one, or do we want to creep on
just
forward?
Again, anything related to Christmas, just take with a grain of salt, because it will be filmed multiple times.
Yeah.
If a leak like this happens, if like again the son goes, "Aye lads, it's going to be Ravi who dies," and they have to quickly go, "Fuck, need to film another ending."
It's like even when they were doing it, all of the actors and actresses were like, we filmed it as a woman, you know, like it could be literally anyone. We don't know. Like only a few of us actually know.
But my theory is, my current theory for Christmas, hopefully we will make a second video, basically saying what do we think is happening. What I think will happen is, throughout the months, now it's not listed obviously, but throughout the months of September up to Christmas, Nish abuses the 6 women somehow.
Yeah.
And then, either physically or emotionally, and then at Christmas, like, he absolutely bullies Eve. That's what I'm saying. He's like the biggest bastard in the world. He bullies her. And then at Christmas, Eve stands up for Suki and just stabs the shit out of him. That's how I'm imagining it. It's just, she starts like cutting into him like a sandwich. Just, fucking you cunt. just aggressively getting more and more aggressive with it. Just, fuck you. And then like people have to pull her off, and she's just there digging the knife deeper and deeper. Just get off him, no.
I suppose the one that's also just as exciting to see is the next one. Says the body is hidden and locked in a freezer in the Vic kitchen until it can be decided what is going to be done about it. So, and this then leads into the next one saying there are at least 10 people aware of the murder and the cover-up is extensive. So this ain't someone's accident. Maybe it was basically it's causing fucking shockwaves through the square. We can imagine that all of the 6 women know that this person was murdered. We can argue that George and Elaine likely know that this person was murdered. And maybe even the Night Sisters, but I imagine they'll be shielded from it.
Now here's my take. The wedding at Christmas is not Phil and Kat's wedding.
Yeah.
That does happen at Christmas, but that is not the nighttime wedding. I'm assuming this happens at night time, around 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because EastEnders time is different to our time in the real world. So I'm basically picturing that it's George Knight and Elaine who gets married. And, and basically, so it's only a small wedding, so like, the 6 women are invited because they know Linda. And then, like, friends are invited. Like, Ian Beale is probably invited. Cindy, if she's revealed to be George Knight's wife. Like, and then probably the Knight sisters. Tyson, and then basically Nish walks in probably drunk, and then he's like, I know he can't swear, he's like, fuck you, fuck your wife, you're a fucking lesbian, and then someone just stabs him, and then they're like, okay, we have to cover this up.
I haven't envisaged how I'd imagine it would be, but I do imagine that Nish will come after Suki and Eve in some way. And obviously, because Nish has kind of gotten involved in a lot of these 6 women's business anyways. So I can imagine it happening, but I guess let's not get too... I suppose the idea that a big cover-up is gonna, like, bring the square together in, like, the... you know, when Den died, obviously it was a cover-up, but, like, all the women, they didn't really grow closer, but, like, some people flaked off. It started to become really twisted. Nobody really knew how to, like, handle it. So there'll be, like, the aftermath will be felt within the square, and then suddenly people will be starting to talk. Next one being we've already said that. Cindy and Ian Beale returned at Halloween, which doesn't actually coincide with the current theory that the 22nd will figure out that Cindy is Rose, George Knight's wife. But obviously that suggested that they're going to find out, like, what part George had to play in this. You know, like, did he scare her off? Was he dodgy? Did he murder her? You know. So, and I suppose just to read a bunch more into this Cindy stuff, if you want to stop me at any time, just do so. So Cindy was placed in witness protection after a violent incident in the prison. She was allegedly to have died whilst giving birth. Cindy's witness protection name was Rose, and she was married to George Knight. Her daughters are Anna and Gina, who is named after her sister. That is true as well. She is named after... Well, Cindy's sister was called Gina. Upon learning of her daughter Lucy's murder in the press, Cindy was devastated and also scared that her new identity might be revealed, and fled from George and their daughters. Whew. So this is mostly just a bit of confirmation bias. This is kind of suggesting what most people are theorizing right now. And it would make sense, because they do need to give Cindy more, like, splash when she comes back. Like, she can't just affect Ian and Kathy and Bobby. That's not strong enough for a big return if you're bringing them back from the dead. You need it to fucking send shockwaves through the square. So it's all quite interesting. I don't think there's much to add here. I think honestly, if you want to see this fleshed out, watch Talking Walford's video. They did a pretty in-depth take on how they believe that they're gonna return. So go ahead and do that. It's just kind of proving what we believe we already know. Except it's more so it's gonna happen at Halloween rather than like 22nd of June. So a bit more pacing.
My guess is June 22nd we see a picture of Rose. Like, what I'm just saying is they hide the identity of Rose, basically.
Yeah.
So they go, yeah, Rose this, Rose that, Rose this, Rose that, Rose had blonde hair, etc., etc. And then on June 22nd, the cliffhanger is George Knight. We see a photo of George Knight with Rose Knight, and then everyone in the comments, holy
and the thing that'll be wild is that most of the people on the square now don't actually know Cindy. Kathy knows Cindy, Phil knows Cindy, Sonia maybe, but fundamentally most people who are there now won't actually know who the fuck it is. So that's where the like dramatic irony comes in. But we know it's Cindy, but like they don't. But yeah, it'll be. I think it's the right move personally. If we are bringing her back from the dead, it's the right move to have her have like daughters as well. You know, so pretty exciting stuff. Should I continue forward? Obviously, Ian returns and buys half of the Undertakers from the Cokers. This coincides with a point later on suggesting that, despite promising Lola that Ben and Jay would look after Lexi together, a custody battle ensues when Jay discovers that Ben's struggling with bulimia. And in order to fight Ben in court, Jay and Billy end up selling their half of the Undertakers to Ian. So, kind of, once again, another thing we kind of expect is happening. Because we can't see Ben and Jay sticking together. They've suggested Jay's going to find another, like, close friend he's going to confide in instead. So, it makes sense. And it also makes sense because Ian doesn't really own anything anymore. Like, he doesn't own Walford East. Kathy obviously owns the cafe, the Albert, and some other stuff in there. So Ian would need something to invest his money in and actually, like, have a business, because it's always been a key part of Ian's character to, like, be a big business owner and make money in, you know. I wonder how they're going to characterize him when he comes back.
I've got nothing left, Phil. Got nothing left. He's just like, I've got no businesses.
Yeah, I'll get into that later, but it's still like, how is Ian gonna be with Cindy, who he thought was dead? And then even stuff noted later, it doesn't even suggest that Cindy's relationship with Ian's that strong. So, it's pretty fucking strange. But exciting nonetheless. A fire at the Panasars on bonfire night sees Eve and Vinny trapped. One does not survive the explosion. Oof.
Vinny.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be Vinny, doesn't it? As much as soaps do love to kill off the gays, I can't help but feel like Vinny will actually develop as a character, but will likely die because of Nish's actions, because obviously Nish is going to start this fire. As suggested that Eve and Suki's relationship goes public, so people will know. And if Nish isn't already banged up, he'll be fucking furious and start trying to cause shit. So, and one thing I've always been saying is, I don't see either Nish or Vinny as long-term characters, because you can't really have them be long-term characters without, like, in their current form. I could imagine Vinny being on the square with Suki, just trying to, like, build his own stuff up, but it still feels like he needed something else. And obviously Nish is never going to be without Suki unless he's, like, unless he's dead. So I am slightly worried that they will just kill off Eve, because obviously tragic love story, you know. But I feel like EastEnders need to realize that they don't need to kill off another gay character. Like, not many soap characters get like a happy ending. And they need to not do this. So hopefully Vinny dies.
See, of course, rewrites might happen, but my problem is you've invested so much time into this. You cannot just kill them off. Kill off Eve. You have to have Eve. Like, alright, how can I say this? So say next June. So this day next year, June 9th next year. What I'm saying is you can kill her off then. You can't kill her off. You can't have, oh my god, our relationship is public. dead.
Yeah,
Would
because
make
I
sense.
mean, like what happened last time? Oh, it was Ben and Paul got fucking murdered just as Ben was ready to be happy. So I feel like if it was the previous writers, Eve would be dead. But I feel like Chris Glenshaw understands the strength of Sookie and Eve and probably won't just decide to kill her off. I feel like Vinny dying would be another step in the complete, like, just completely villainized Nish to such a great extent that if it wasn't gonna be like Sookie or Eve, just one of them was gonna fucking murder him. So I just feel like it has to be Nish, and I feel like it has to be Vinny to die here, because it'll just be absolutely tragic if Sookie is left alone and they kill off another gay character.
Bring in another gay character then.
Yeah, but who's the last gay character they brought in? Felix. What the fuck has he done? Nothing. Like, you can't kill off these characters, lads. You really need them. They're pretty important. You've invested a shit ton of time in these characters. It would be such a shame if you just killed them off. And carrying on, I suppose even Sookie's relationship goes public. Does make me slightly worried that they will kill him. Oh, I just broke everything again. Does make me slightly worried that they will kill Eve off just because of soaps and gays. But still, it'll be a good time for everybody on the show to fully, like, realize that Sookie's actually a good person at the end of this, and like they've decided that every bad thing that Sookie's done has been because she wanted to protect the family from Nish. So they've kind of fully, like, humanized her. She's now a lot more warm and a lot more, like, comforting, and actually is able to, like, tell Vinny he loves him, and, you know. So it'll be a big step, and it'll be the, like, Sookie stays no matter what. Like, the actress has definitely made a home on the show, and I don't see it going anywhere at this point with how much they've invested in the character. Now some slightly smaller ones. Little Mo returns for 6 weeks from Christmas Day onwards. I'm just trying to figure out if there's actually on the screen or not. There we are. Yeah, from 6 Day onwards for storyline with a son, Freddy. This, I would believe, would be Little Mo actually telling Freddy that you were conceived out of rape. Like, you have no connection with your dad, and it's like that for a reason. I think that's what it'll be, because that'll be Freddy's big, like, coming out storyline as such. It'll be as big, like, I'm an established character, I've got depth storyline.
Just imagine, like, Little Mo arrives on Christmas Day. Freddy's like, "What'd you get me, Mom?" "You were a rape baby, you fucker." Just like...
And I suppose it'll be really good to see... It'll be really good to see Little Mo and Freddy's relationship, because as far as we can tell, it's really fucking wholesome and really loving. And I feel like we've desperately wanted Little Mo to come back for some time. So for her to come back for a good 6 weeks, like after Christmas or on Christmas and onwards, I think it'll be pretty good, because they've been doing a great job with these short returns. Take Ricky's, for example. Ricky's return was phenomenal. It completely made... Beyond that point, people would never really said, "I want Ricky back." But after that return, people say, "I want Ricky back." So, and obviously that lines up with Freddy beginning to work at the Albert. Probably a great place for Freddy as a character. Makes me sad to think that there won't be as many, like, Freddy Bobby scenes, because you probably won't be working at the Chippy anymore. But who knows? It'll be the necessary time to flesh out the Freddy, who is Freddy's dad storyline that they've been kind of slowly tweaking in the background. But yeah, and exciting as well, because we haven't seen Little Mo in fucking years. It's got to have been, like, coming up to 20 years since she was last on the square. I think. So, pretty exciting stuff. Another one, Martin and Stacy rekindle their relationship. That's not really a surprise. The two characters are pretty much in a state of flux. They just completely just go in circles. I imagine we're being led to believe that Martin and Stacy are like soulmates as such. And I think they'll rekindle. Maybe they'll have another kid. Probably not. But, you know, then they'll just kind of exist and have their normal relationship again. Not really much to add to that one, is there, Piggy?
No.
I suppose if we theorize, I assume the baby, Lily's baby, will just strengthen their bond, and they'll like reminisce and think, oh, you know, wasn't it fun when we had our kid, and you know, they'll probably like piece them back together. This one, which is slightly ominous, a mysterious new older female character working for Richie. Richie's Phil's lawyer. Begins to show an unusual interest in the picture of Peggy Mitchell behind the Queen Vic bar. It appears there's a connection, and she begins to work for Phil. So there might be a new Mitchell on the square, or at least a Mitchell, like, relative.
The same.
Yeah, like someone of the family, because usually when they do this, it's usually someone like from the past that nobody ever knew was there before. I don't have any ideas as to who it could be, and it seems like it is suggested that it's a new, like, older female character. So it could have been like one of like Peggy's like kids from back in the day, you know. But also probably pretty needed, because the Mitchells are very fucking light in numbers right now, having just killed off Lola. So this is the all-out plus for me. It's always great to see a new character get introduced, especially if they have ties to established characters. Because they can then take, like, some of the qualities, you know. Like, if she's a descendant of fucking Peggy, mate, she's gonna absolutely leather someone. Not physically, but, like, verbally, she's gonna beat someone down to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty exciting. Likewise, Elaine and Kathy forge... Elaine and Kathy forge a bond, but Kathy starts exhibiting early signs of dementia. But the brackets just say this could just be stress due to what happens at Christmas. I feel like it will just be like she's just really like shaken up by the events of Christmas and is struggling with the guilt. But I also like the idea of Elaine and Kathy having a friendship, because Kathy doesn't have many friends, I'll be honest. And she doesn't have that many friends her age. Like, if it was, like, mid-2010s, she would probably have, like, Cora Cross over there. Maybe she'd even be, like, slightly friends with Aunt Babe. You know, there was a lot more older people on the square, but there's no one really on the square her age, and Elaine fits that bill. Slightly worrying, but if Kathy dies, I feel like she'll die at the 40th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. I could see them doing a dementia storyline with Kathy.
Yeah.
Which leads up to the 40th anniversary. Like how I imagine it is on the 39th, yeah, the 39th, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Next year. I can see on one of the days of the 39th anniversary she gets diagnosed with dementia.
Yeah.
And throughout the year, she slowly becomes... might sound bad saying this, old and frail.
Yeah,
shitting herself, pissing the bed. Not a bunk bed like you. And then basically Ian will have to be a carer for her. Yeah. And then at the 40th anniversary you get that scene of her in the bed, old and frail, going, I love you, John. And then Ian goes, name's Ian.
And then he goes, I've got nothing left.
Got no one left.
I could genuinely imagine them killing Kathy off on the 40th anniversary. I mean, Gillian Talforth, I mean, she was great from the role initially. She left in what, like 02, 03. So, and from when she came back in, I believe it was 2015, she's been an incredible character. And I think that's the kind of high-profile story that you'd want to do. I just dropped the fucking wallet. So, I hope, basically, I want her to never have to die, because I would love to see her play the role. I'd love to see her play the exact same role she does now. But, I mean, the actress is... she's getting on, and maybe at some point she wants to retire, so maybe at some point you just kill her off. And I think it would be a good send off to the character.
I hope it's
sure.
dementia. I don't hope dementia on anyone, but I hope it is like early stages of dementia. So I don't think that's ever really been done in a show, dementia.
It's definitely been done on some soaps, but on EastEnders, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it'd be great. Like, I imagine it would have went to Dot had Dot lived, but
yeah,
obviously Julia Brown went, "Fuck you, lads! I'm dying. Why? Because I want to." Sorry, Julia, or whatever your name is.
June.
June. But yeah, I can see Kathy getting early stages of dementia, and then throughout the year you have Ian caring for her.
And Bobby as well.
Well, more Ian, like Bobby's a bit young, but I understand what you mean. Like, I'm not saying like because he's a murderer, but like it's hard on like someone who's 19, 20 to look after a dementia patient.
Yeah,
I know.
Of course.
I know you're gonna say, well, fucking Ian has to do it. And he's like 50. Yeah, but that's different. He's like 50.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. You don't need to do any more. And obviously, the thing we mentioned before, obviously the custody battle, which is imminent between Jay, Billy, and Ben, because Ben will get increasingly more ill with his bulimia, and will probably just start to believe that Jay's like holding trying to like control him or whatever. This is him taking back control. And yeah. So
I hope he loses custody to Ben.
Probably what, Jay?
Oh no, I hope Ben loses custody to Jay, I should say.
Okay. And I suppose this also corresponds with Ian buying the Undertakers. Obviously Jay and Billy will end up selling, of course. I think it's... Well, there's also suggestions that... we'll get into that a bit later, but you know, it might not be the last Lexi storyline we see. Cindy attempts to build bridges with George, and the girls even going as far to aggressively pursue George romantically, but he is too busy helping Linda conceal the body at the Vic. I don't know how to feel about this one, because it sets up a lot of questions. If Cindy and Ian are back together, are they just friends? Like, if she's trying to pursue George... I get that George is probably a bit different, because obviously she seemingly never wanted to leave George. But if that's the case, why is she trying to like aggressively pursue a romance with George? Like, it's a very strange thing to see, because it's like, are Ian and Cindy just friends? Are they back together? Are they getting married again or something? Or like what? Like what? I don't. it's hard to.
No offense to Adam Woodlock or Woodlake, however you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
But like, he looks like a fucking pug. Who would shag him? Who would shag him?
He has. To be fair, he has gotten into decent shape though. Fair play.
I know that, but I'm just
his
saying.
Divorce really hit him hard. He went, oh well, yeah, I'm making all the EastEnders money. Well, I'm not making that money anymore, am I, dickhead? And obviously the divorce has cleared up, so now he's like, hey, EastEnders! Now I said I was never going to come back. Well, give me like 2 extra zeros on that fucking deal, and there we go.
But he'll always be attached to EastEnders, wouldn't he? Like, he's like...
Oh, of course.
Like with Danny Dyer saying, "I'll never go back to fuck EastEnders." You believe it because like he's too big for EastEnders. Let's be honest. Whereas Ian Beale, the actor who plays Ian Beale, is like, "I'll never go back to EastEnders."
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, mate."
Yeah,
and,
sure, Bucko.
And my pigeon shits in a toilet. like whenever there's EastEnders, there will be an Ian Beale until he dies.
Yeah, but the main interesting point is, how do you reckon Cindy and Ian's like dynamic's gonna be? Because if she is trying to get back with George, like how much love is there really? Like at the end,
it's more of a friendship. Yeah. Friends with benefits.
Like
Netflix and chill with the will.
It's just a really strange thing to imagine at this point. Because it's the man she never wanted to leave and the man that she had to leave because she went to prison. But when she left Ian, she fucking despised Ian and tried to get him murdered. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. We're going to have to wait and see. Let's just continue onwards. Felix, yes, Felix, the man who has done fuck all so far on the show. Is going to be seeing a married man who turns violent, another domestic abuse type story, perhaps. It would be the first real relationship we see Felix get into, so it would be good to actually see them have some growth as a character and see what they're like in love, because, you know, that's kind of the way it goes. This is how you mostly improve. I mean, it's how they made Suki like a lovable character. So will be interesting to see how they do that. Are you excited for Felix to finally find some love, even if it's
like, I know hurtful? Who he's shagging straight away.
Who is it?
Reese, because everyone believes Reese is a murderer. So he's taking a trip to Todgertown.
Yeah.
He's becoming gay, Reese.
So yeah, it's honestly, under these writers, I trust them to do anything. So good luck to that storyline. Alfie and Joe share a night of passion. Joe is obviously Rocky's ex-wife. She seems like she's sticking about to like retch out that divorce. So apparently Alfie's gonna be shagging Joe Cotton. Alright. Fair enough. Yeah, not really much to do with that. No. Mitch is accused of assaulting one of his fares, and even Karen struggles to believe he's innocent. That sounds like it'll be an interesting storyline if they give it the time, because, you know, Mitch is a black man in London, and if he
I was gonna say that.
I'm not saying it'd be very easy for him to get racially profiled. Or it could be like a racial attack, like do that kind of angle where he's holed up for an attack and nobody believes him, but it was all like set up. And honestly, if Mitch gets more storylines, I'm happy for it, because the actor's really good. It's just he doesn't really get to do anything beyond when Keegan left and when he was first introduced with Bailey, and Bailey was taking care of her mum, his ex, who had MS. So just more Mitch storylines, please. Keanu and Sharon struggle when Lisa returns with Peggy, telling Keanu he needs to step up. It appears that Louise has had a mental breakdown. I think this mostly makes sense. Yeah, it's not really. I suppose it was always going to happen, because they're probably going to say that mental illness runs in the family, because obviously Lisa Fowler obviously had a lot of mental health issues on her initial time with the Square, had a lot of trouble with Phil and that affair. So it makes sense, and will just be another step in Keanu like trying to develop as like a man and like a father. It's a shame if they are deciding that Louise is gonna have a mental breakdown, because, you know, as a character she was quite cool, but it seems like they aren't quite sure what's gonna happen so far. So, and just some like more speculative stuff on there. There's talk of characters returning in 2024 to be discussed at the next conference. These include Louise Mitchell as a recast. Obviously, the actress Tilly Keeper, I believe she's started to get like proper acting roles now, so she just probably wouldn't want to return to the role of Louise Mitchell. So, a shame. I can understand why people don't like recast so much, and I probably wouldn't like this one if they did bring Louise back. But I believe that they'd be able to write a decent character. It just feels like the actress kind of embodied the character. She did a really good job. So yeah, it's kind of hard to... A shame, but I think they'll manage. Janine Carter for 3 episodes in the anniversary week. People are thinking that that Linda's going to end up raising Janine's baby boy.
Fair enough.
Because obviously, you know, it's Mick's son, and Linda would want to... It would be like the last thing she has of Mick, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if they decide that Linda's going to be that kid's guardian. And then when Mick eventually does come back, it can be like, oh fuck, that's my boy, you know. And also, a surprising one, Emma Harding is gonna come back for a huge storyline that sees her take Lexi. Man alive, out of all the people who are gonna stick around out of the Lola storyline, I was not expecting it to be her mum. Like,
oh, we're getting down fucking 7 and back on the square.
Gonna intimidate more children.
The hardest woman on the square.
I believe
like she got a face full of acid.
That's just say she's got Botox, man. That's so fucking rude. Really unreasonable.
Look,
her face doesn't move much. That's fair enough. Maybe not acid. So, yeah. Obviously, this is probably going to play into the Ben and Jay and Billy custody storyline of Lexi. And I genuinely believe that Emma will go, listen, right, you fuckers, you're not doing this for Lexi's good. This has become personal. I'm going to take her to America with me, and she's going to, you know, I'm going to raise her like I would have wanted to raise Lola. And I do feel like Lexi will probably leave the square for a good couple of years till they decide to either recast her or just bring her back when she's a bit older so she can actually get involved in the storylines. I just feel like without Lola there, Lexi kind of feels redundant, and I think that they're gonna parallel Lola's like custody storyline with this one. So yeah, weird scenes to imagine that fucking Emma's coming back. But if they give her more like reason and more time, I'm sure she can do something good. It's just they didn't really know how to write her the first time. So, it's, you know. Hopefully they can actually give her something good. And she can actually take more of like a leading role on the show, rather than just being like like Lola's weird mum. You know? Any thoughts on Emma's return?
Forget the dance right of the square. I'm looking forward to this. More Emma Harding in the square, or Patsy Kent, whatever you want.
Yeah.
What I'm hope happens is that the court rules in favor of Jay, and then Jay somehow has a mental breakdown, and goes, I need to call in someone who can take care of you, Lexi. And then you get Julia's theme of Emma and Lexi walking away to America.
Yeah.
Well, Jay and Ben reconcile and cry together.
Yeah, I can imagine something.
And
I don't think it'll be as amicable as that. I do think Emma will come back like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? Like, like, Lola's dead and you have to move on and you have to raise Lexi. This is your responsibility now. And then she'll just, like, take her. And it'll be sad, but it'll probably be tragedy for Ben again, and he'll become more, like, mentally ill and jail struggle, but you know. Oh Jesus, I have to try for it. Letitia Dean is taking 3 months off from anniversary week, so her exit is being discussed in the next conference. That's Sharon. Probably some hiccups with Keanu. Not really too much to really go through there. Just gonna take some time out. Fair enough. 3 months is a long time on the square, so. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to say.
And finally, there's talk of starting to plan for the 40th anniversary blockbuster in 2025, and that they want big, bold ideas. Could be a huge stunt or could be major casting. It all sounds very exciting. Yeah, that's why I imagine the Kathy storyline potentially having dementia and dying on the 25th or the 40th anniversary. They brought back Ian, of course. I like I said, I think we're in a very exciting time for EastEnders, and it just kind of shows why. Like, there's a lot of cool shit going on, and I'm excited if they're already going to be potentially planting seeds for the 40th anniversary, even just 2 years before. Like, that's big, because it was one of the biggest issues to me in the Lola storyline, is they clearly just went, ah, shit, we need to, all right, Daniel Harold, you're getting axed. We need an exit storyline for you. We thought about this cancer thing, and then they kind of went, yeah, so you and Jay are soulmates, even though you weren't together that often, and, yeah, anybody from your past isn't being brought in, get out of the budget. So if they at least get it properly taken care of, it'll be more fun. And I suppose just a bit of a brief look at the document. All it really clears up is the fact that Cindy is going to try pursue George. Linda notices them kissing, and it's going to cause a lot of drama between George, Linda, and Elaine, of course. And it also cuts out the knowing what happened at Christmas, like who's dead, and this person specifically blocked out the name, which I think is the coolest part about this whole leak, is they decided, you know what, it's not on me to leak who dies at Christmas. And it's pretty big. I suppose also the one thing gives me some slight hope is on the bottom bit of the page it says Eve/Sookie, so that makes me hope that Eve and Sookie are going to be together after Christmas, and Eve isn't going to be dead, and it's going to be Vinny. Yeah. We can have a brief little look into the Reddit section. We don't need to be honest. I think a lot of the people are just like, I don't bloody believe it. So, but I suppose do you have anything else? If yeah, what's the most exciting point of this, do you reckon?
The fact that they're how can I explain this? The fact that they're actually planning
for the future,
like for the future, and it's not just like, okay, we're going A to B to B to B, and then to C, finish. Yeah.
What's the most exciting bit for me? God, I don't know. There's so much good stuff in this bit of paper. I've kept the energy throughout. I'm still fucking excited. Like I was just reading it, you know. I just believe that if these are just the current plans, there's so much refining they can do between now and when it actually comes out. So, like I said, the best moments in soaps are ones that are obviously fucking built to. no one just goes... You don't just shove Ian's return on a random Thursday and go, oh, Ian's back, by the way. You go, oh, fuck, Ian's back, and he didn't tell Bobby. And, you know, Kathy could possibly be getting ill. And, you know, oh, fuck, wow, is that going to be... Oh, Cindy, well, she has 2 kids over here that Ian doesn't know about, you know. Like, there's so much cool stuff that's exciting to see. But I suppose, let's just remember to take it with a grain of salt. Because fundamentally, this could all be rewritten or changed. And it may not even be decided as the main, like, approach. So, like we said before, take this with a grain of salt. But fundamentally, don't let anybody take the excitement away from you out of this. I'm fucking pumped, and I'm happy that I'm just happy that it's here, that we can just discuss this. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, but also, you want to get invested in these ideas? Get invested in these ideas. Fuck it, why not? This never happens in EastEnders. Stuff like this never leaks. So let's just enjoy it whilst it's here. All right. So do you have anything else to say, Piggy, before we leave this video as it is? Before we leave this video as it is? Whatever words came to my mouth came out.
I hope this all comes true. I'm slightly worried that this is just some random guy who sat in the bog and went, lads, I've got a fucking brilliant idea. You just shot a lot. Lads, I've got a brilliant idea.
If this is all a hoax, this is gonna be tremendous. Like fair play.
He's just sat in the bog, like, smoking a cigar, like, I've got a brilliant idea. I'm gonna fuck with the EastEnders community. Dave, you're an excellent man. Now it's time to take a trip to Todgertown. I'm looking forward to the future. If it's true that Kathy's gonna start showing early stage dementia, that's gonna absolutely ruin me. Because for people who don't know, my granny had dementia, so I obviously can give insight of, like, well, actually, a dementia patient wouldn't say that. Actually, you said something false there. But it just gives me hope that they're not going to kill off Eve and Sophie at any time soon, and hopefully Eve's involved with the murder at Christmas. Yeah. Because I could see. Now, this is going to be a random throwback for people who don't know. Do you remember when Vince McMahon drugged his wife and then slept with another woman?
Okay.
And basically just abused his wife.
Yeah.
I can see Nish doing that, but with Eve. Just abusing Eve at her job. Like, just abusing her.
Yeah.
Well, not drugging Suki, thankfully. Hopefully not. That would be a very weird storyline. Yeah,
it would be. Alright. Also exciting to see. It's also exciting to see what the because obviously Cindy's return is going to be a fucking huge storyline. And obviously it's going to involve the Knights, and even with them being in the Queen Vic, they are going to be the heart of the square. So it'll be exciting to see. Part of me slightly sad that a lot of the younger characters aren't getting some of these bigger scenes. Like, there's not even really that many of the younger characters. There's mostly just Gina and Anna. And otherwise, it's mostly just all of the established characters doing stuff. But like we said, it's exciting to see. And I suppose that just about wraps this up. I've been Ash from Watching Walford, and I've been joined by Piggy.
I've been in a room full of leaks.
So yeah. Thank you for watching this impromptu episode of Watching Walford. Go ahead and like the channel, subscribe, and if you want to see more stuff like this, comment it down below. But fundamentally, enjoy these leaks, enjoy this news, because it's a pretty exciting time to be an EastEnders fan. So thank you for watching, and make sure to join us next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.